Well, here we are, another video. Hey, appreciate y'all joining me. If this is the first time you've been to Dude RV, hey, click on that subscribe button down there. I'm driving for 10,000. I'm so close, it's not funny. Your support would be greatly appreciated. And by all means, click on that bell. That way you'll never miss another fantastic video from Dude RV. Enough of that. I've been thinking. And I've been told by people I should stop doing that because it tends to lead to work and trouble. But I've been thinking. We've had Miss V for almost 2 years now. We really love this RV, but there's one thing that kind of bugs me. That's when I'm driving. When I'm rolling down the road and I'm pulling my tow behind, not sure how well this is going to work, but when I'm rolling down the road and I got the pickup connected, this is what I see, which is better than nothing at all. But when I'm really rolling down the road, I have to use my side mirrors to see what's going on. Now, granted, I've got cameras mounted on cameras in the mirrors on either side, so that when I'm changing lanes or turning, I get a pretty decent view. But I've been thinking that maybe it would be good if I could find a simple to install camera system. And I'm really thinking I'm going to take it one step further. Well, let's jump over the pickup and we'll talk about that there. There's something else that I've been thinking about as far as the benefits of having a secondary camera system, and that is when I'm driving in the truck. Because you see, since I've put the topper on the back, I'm looking through 3 different pieces of glass, and 2 of those are pretty heavily tinted. I have a backup camera on the pickup, but that's the monitor. You can't really see a whole lot in that little bitty monitor. So having the larger monitor with an active, the camera system on the truck right now, it only comes on when the truck is in reverse. So having a camera for the rear view would really be a benefit, and having that big monitor could only improve the driving experience when I'm in the pickup. Not sure we're going to be able to get that to work, but I'm going to work with it. I'm going to see what I can do. Doorbell just rang. I think the package I've been waiting on is here. Let's go see. Sure enough, DHL. Been waiting on this one. Haloview, technology meets design. They actually reached out to me and asked me to create a video. I was kind of hesitant. Now I'm kind of excited. And I think, if nothing else, it'll just be good video content. How do we get into this? It's adult-proof packaging. There it is. All right, the user manual, some wiring instructions, always handy to have, camera specifications, so nice big monitor. Cable and antenna. That's the camera system. This does have infrared as well. Okay, so that's the wireless transmitter. So I don't have to run cabling. I can actually mount one on the truck and put the monitor in the cab. Have to see how it all plays out. All right, so I'm gonna go study some instructions. That's a mount. The mount for the monitor. Yeah, it must be a mount for the monitor. Okay, let me go read some instructions and we'll figure this out. I have gone through the user's manual here. There's not a lot of detailed instructions, but it gives you pretty much everything you need to know. There's connecting to the cameras. Wiring is pretty simple. It depends on your application. Now this particular model is designed for longer vehicles. I'm not sure how well that picture shows off, like a big fifth wheel. So the camera itself comes with, this is the camera unit, and then there's a roll of cable to run the length of the vehicle, and this is your power leg. You've got this dual splitter and the transmitter, and you can flip that around to any configuration. You can put the splitter closer to the camera if your power, that's convenient to a power supply. And then the monitor, it's a pretty high-tech little device here. It actually, you can connect this wiring harness and set up perimeter cameras all the way around, so that when you turn on the blinkers, you get that. You have the rear. Anyway, you've got several feeds. For my purposes, I'm just going to use the one basic feed. My challenge is going to be moving from the monitor from the pickup when I'm daily driving to the Ms. V when I'm on the road. Now that's a windshield mount. It'll be great in Ms. V. So now I just need to figure out, it'll be a little bit of a configuration switch up before we hit the road, but not too unworkable. And I may actually be able to come up with a suction cup mount for this, so that I just stick that up on the window. I don't know. I'm gonna go out to the truck and the RV and put together an actionable plan before I do anything. I may need to buy some additional hardware, and I don't want to start the project and get into it and oh dang, I got to get some hardware. So let me do a little more studying and I'll be back. All right, so here's the plan. I want to mount it so that it's maybe right there. That's kind of where I want to mount it. I don't want to poke holes in my topper. Before I invested a whole lot of time and effort in mounting the camera and the transmitter and all of that fun stuff, decided I was going to do a temporary test connection. So I have my topper has a power port here, and it's always hot. So I'm gonna have to find a switched leg to power the camera. I may actually end up mounting that under the hood. I'm hoping that I don't have to go to that extreme wire run for all that cable. I'm hoping that it'll be sufficient enough that I'll have enough power from the transmitter when we connect to Miss V. Because right now, as you can see here in the truck, nice clear image, and that's just incredible. So I'm going to reposition the truck behind Miss V, and we'll see how well that works. All right, I'm going to admit, I had my doubts. I had my doubts about this little camera set up from Haloview. And I'm going to be honest. I was like, well, they're willing to give me this camera that's like $300. How good can it be? All right, so doing my preliminary, not hardwiring yet, just trying to figure out exactly my configuration. Yappy needed to leave, so I had to open up the driveway here so she could get out. So I backed the truck up. And you saw me connect the camera to the back of the truck. So it's just sitting back there on the tailgate right now. I brought the monitor up here to the cab of the coach. And that's got to be probably 60 feet. So we're about 60 feet from the camera to the monitor. Look at this picture. Here comes the guy on a bicycle, just in time. I gotta get it mounted, and I've got a cool solution for that. Stay tuned. I spent quite a few hours yesterday crawling around underneath the truck in the heat, trying to make this thing happen. But I'll bring you up to speed. This came in yesterday. This is a Ram mount. There'll be a link to that down in on my Amazon influencer page. But that sucker is rock solid. Now I'm not sure how it's going to hold up with car wash. I may actually have to take it off. And yeah, it's a little noticeable. It could be a little more subtle, but I'm not worried about what people see or think. And there may actually be a little issue with water infiltration. Not too bad though. So here's where the setup is as of right now. I was connecting the power to the power supply for the PowerPoint. I was thinking I would be able to pick up power at the 7-way, the 7-pin hitch, because there's a hot for charging the trailer battery. But I learned a lesson yesterday. I learned a hard lesson yesterday. Not a hard lesson. I just learned a lesson. With the new power management system on F-150s, that 7-way hitch connection is not energized until the system recognizes trailer brakes. So it looks like I'm going to have to run a switched supply from the cab fuse block, but I will still be using that continuous power connection when we're hooked up and I'm flat towing, because if I've got it on the ignition, I won't be able to use it as the rear view on the motor home. So prior to hitting the road, I'll have to switch that out. Right now, I've got to track down the components necessary to run that switched line from the power distribution panel. Well, right off the bat, you're going to notice it's got the parking lines on the screen. And I've actually tried to turn that off. There seems to be a way to turn it off, but when I tap on that function, it doesn't turn off those lines. Not that they're that bad, it kind of gives you perspective, I guess. I'm really excited about how this is going to perform on our upcoming trip. The last several trips we've been on, it never fails that some Yahoo will get right up on the back end of the motorhome and we can't see them. So I'm on the highway now, which is where I was really wanting to have this equipment. And here's two observations. One, you have to become accustomed to the depth, field of depth of field. You have to become accustomed to the depth of field. Everything is a little bit farther back in the screen than it is in the mirror. Slow down, let this big truck get out of here. You're making all that noise. Doesn't he know I'm shooting video? What I'm really pleased with is the field of view is wide, so wide that I can actually see cars in my blind spot when they're right here. When they're right here on the screen, I can't see them in my side mirror, and unless I turn my head and look over my shoulder, I can't see the cars. It's like this van is coming up. He's now in my blind spot. So that's very, very good. It's the same on both sides. I have a big blind spot on both sides because of the cab and the topper. And that camera just opens that way up for me. This one is a good investment. Well, I've just finished powering up the camera. Well, not the way I want it. Finished the wiring on the camera. A little bit windy, so hopefully we're not getting too much across the microphone. As you can see, installed a cigarette connector to our power supply for the camera. That gives me the ability to move the power source. So install a single 12-volt power plug cigarette lighter that is tied into an ignition switched leg from the fuse panel inside the cab. We'll see that in a moment. So that's for daily running when I'm doing just driving around in the truck. When we are connected to Miss V on the flat toe configuration, all I have to do is move it over there, and now the camera is always on. Switch it back over. Nice and simple. Now let's go take a look at where I tied into the fuse box inside the cab passenger side. In the passenger floorboard, there is a fuse panel the distribution panel. So I have spliced into that with, here on number 27, it's switched. There's quite a few unused circuits in there, but most of them are unswitched. So to pick up the switched power from the footwell, I use the add a circuit fuse tap. Looks like this. Now, one thing that I learned is you actually have to have 2 fuses in that port, otherwise the fuse tap will not work. Let's go around to the driver's seat and I'll show you what advantage that gives. All right, here we are sitting in the driver's seat. I have the monitor turned on. Currently, I have the monitor just plugged in and I'm operating it with that. I'm going to install a switched 12-volt plug down there. It'll be here today. Amazon Prime. Here's what happens when we turn on the truck. Boom. There you go. Rear view camera, which is much better than that one. One of the other things that I did, the monitor, the whole camera monitor kit came with a mount. I guess it's designed for the windshield. I really didn't want my windshield covered up with the monitor. I wanted it to sit on the dash. Now in the RV, I'm going to be using a window mount, but for the truck, the pickup, here's how it's mounted. So there's a little suction cup. Bought that on Amazon. It's an Amazon Basics. And it's a pretty heavy little bean bag. And then I bought this mount. It actually is provided by Haloview, and I found it on Amazon as well. Now for all these components, I'm going to put that on my influencer page, my Amazon influencer page, and that will be in the description down below. I'm going to put it with all my camera gear as opposed to the camping gear. So let's move over to Miss V and see how this looks when it's mounted. This is the driver's seat of the motorhome. All right. Got the monitor mounted. Got the Haloview monitor mounted. Now, as you can see, we're sitting in the driveway here. And you can see we're looking at the wall of the house. There's a little white truck. The Toad. Boom, there you go. When we are rolling down the highway, pulling the pickup, we can take advantage of the rear view camera on the pickup. Now, I am so impressed with the Haloview products that I think I'm going to replace that camera with that type of camera, because there's so much more visible. That camera is so much better than the one that I have mounted. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of this video, installing the Haloview camera system. That's it turned out to be a little more of a project than I had anticipated, but I feel that it was well worthwhile, and we'll know for a fact here in a couple of days when we get on the road on this next adventure. While we're traveling on our adventure, I will be including some video footage of the camera, the rear view camera in action. That way you can see it as we experience it. To summarize, the Haloview camera system, I think it is well worth the investment. Good product. glad that I took them up on their offer. If you're interested in the Haloview camera system and you want one of your own, you can go to my Amazon influencer page. It's in the link down there in the description. The link is in the description below. You can also see all the other camera equipment that I have used and worked with in producing my videos. I sure appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. If this is your first time to see a Dude RV video, please click on the subscribe button. And remember, click on that bell too. The bell is right down there. That'll let you know whenever I post a new video. I post videos every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. That is my prime time slot. For those of you who have subscribed and have been riding along with me, I am so very grateful and honored that you enjoy my productions. We're almost to 10,000. I'm so excited. All right, with that being said, the last thing I have to say, y'all come back now, you hear?